What is up? So as of late, I've been on a bit of a Dandy's World craze. I really enjoyed this game, and with how popular this game ended up getting, that only meant that we were inevitably getting bootlegs. A lot of them. Plushies are probably the most infamous of these, and since there are so many, I thought it'd be fun to rank all of them to see if any of them are, well, actually good. The rankings will mostly be based on how accurate the plushies resemble the characters from the game, and there will be different tiers corresponding to that. Note that some characters had multiple different plush forms, but in the end I just chose the one that looked the funniest or was best suited for the ranking. Another thing I should mention is that the Christmas tunes won't make an appearance. They don't have plushies considering their recentness. Razzle and Dazzle also just don't have a plush for some reason. Trust me, I looked, but everyone else is fair game. And finally, I'll only be covering the tunes' regular forms, except for Scraps, which I'll explain later. I will say that this is my first go at one of these ranking videos, and it's also my first scripted video ever, so I'd appreciate any support if you do enjoy it. I'm not that great at speaking, so don't judge me. Nevertheless, let the nightmares ensue with our bottom placement. So, the worst plush. I mean, it can't be that bad, right? Right? That is not Shelly. You can't convince me that it is. Everything about this is just unnerving and wrong. Her head is so round it almost has its own gravitational field, she looks like she's wearing a goddamn diaper, and where is her undershirt? Like, God, there's children here, you know? They absolutely massacred her. Forgotten for a reason, huh? The mains are not having it easy, because this is not much better than Shelly. I mean, at least they got his scarf, but that forehead is something else. They just completely removed his hair in the front, and I couldn't tell you why. He's also violently saturated. It's like staring into the sun. Again, though, I'm taking it over Shelly. Finn, you're one of my favorites, but good lord, this sucks. His whole body and head are pretty misshapen, and his life vest is too dark. The bottom of his feet are also blue for some reason. I don't know how they got that. He's only above Sprout since his forehead was so extremely prominent, but yeah, sadly, this is still a rather poor depiction. Another main! Jeez, they just can't get them right. I used to think Astro's wasn't that bad. It is. His head's too flat, so flat to the point where it almost ruins the whole plush. And something about that hat is just off. It's too floppy, I guess? I mean, realistically, it'd probably be like that, but I can't see it translating that well into plush form, which it didn't. Well, hey, besides the head, and the rest of the body looks fine, I suppose. I will give them this. I am really impressed that they got her lampshade to actually hang off and be able to be looked inside of, just like the actual game. She even has her light bulb, and she's still not great. Similar to Finn, she's just really misshapen everywhere, especially with her torso, which is way too large. A for effort on this one, though. Gigi doesn't look terrible at first until you realize that her arms are just spears. They probably looked at a single image of Gigi facing forward and was like, oh, I got it. Her arms are circles. That makes anatomical sense. She's definitely also been looks maxing or something because look at that jawline. Yikes. She's not that bad, but not even close to good. Toodles has a similar problem to Astro where her head is too flat and football-like. It kinda looks like if you took a Stewie Griffin plush and plastered a Toodles skin over it. Besides the obvious issue with the head, her body is pretty much fine with her dress just being a little misshapen. Could be worse. And similar to Toodles, the only glaring issue with Goob has to do with the head, more specifically the face. You can clearly see that it just cuts off, and the head itself is a little too round. But I gotta appreciate how they did pretty well with the arms, all things considered. Okay, this one... This one's just utterly hilarious. Why is she so fat? This girl somehow made Bobette look skinny. It's insane. Also, if you wanted any tea, then too bad, because her head is full of porcelain instead. But even then, I must say that they nailed her boa pretty spot on. I really like that they made it extra fluffy too. This one might not deserve this high of a placement, but I mean, come on. We've officially reached the plushies that are passable, and Scraps is a weird one. Now, you're probably screaming, that's her twisted form, you damn idiot, which you'd partially be right on. If you haven't caught on, her body is normal, but her face is twisted, which was a rather weird design choice. This is the only Scraps plush that exists, so I kinda had to use it for the purposes of this list. If her face were normal, this plush could have snagged an easy A tier, but oh well. Yeah, even Connie and Louie have got plushes already. I'm so shocked right now. This one's pretty alright, although I fail to understand why they made her hair so thin. You're looking like a failed origami project with that. Otherwise, she's fine, and definitely way better than I would have expected. The star of the show has arrived, and this plush ain't too bad. The petals are colored correctly, and everything else seems fine too, until you look at the back. What happened? Dandy just has an eternal void as the backside of his head, which kinda sucks. They were so close to a really solid plush, but hey, it's still not terrible. Again, not bad, although he suffers from the same round head issue that Goob had, which in hindsight makes even less sense for Boxton, but it really isn't too noticeable, I guess. I'm glad they remembered his wind-up key on the back though, and they got his bandana really well. You can even see the wrapped up ends of it on the back, which is a great detail. Finally, a good depiction of a mane. Not much to say here really, other than the head being a little too round again, and the lack of her bent antenna. Definitely passable, as I'd say.
Looked in the mirror, sharp as a bullet.
You'll notice that these later entries will go by faster, and that's because I simply don't have much to critique about them. Roger, for example, is low-key pretty good. His head is definitely on the thick side, but I shouldn't really blame them considering it'd be difficult to make his head as thin as in the game. No complaints about anything else here though.
Looked in the mirror, sharp as a bullet.
They did great here. His limb colors don't blend in quite the same way, but it's not all too noticeable, and he's just as angry as my little boy should be.
Looked in the mirror, sharp as a bullet.
Now I've gotten to the plushies that I would actually maybe buy. Now for Pebble, let me get the elephant, or dog, out of the room. His legs are blue. What drove the creators of this to make them blue? Who knows, but looking past that, he's really good and genuinely adorable. We just don't talk about his twisted plush, alright?
Looked in the mirror, sharp as a bullet.
He kinda looks like a baby. I'm just getting baby vibes, I don't know. I'm very impressed by this one. They thickened him up a lot similar to Roger, but I don't think it's as bad at all. Overall, a great depiction. The final 5. The 5 that I considered to get the crown title of perfection. Pretty much. With that being said, the only problem with this one is Flutter's slightly deformed head. That's really easy to look past though. They got every detail down to a T, from her wings to her antenna. It's simply awesome. For being so recent, I wasn't expecting much, but man, they nailed this. His head may look oversized at first, but it's kinda just like that in the game. And considering he is a balloon, I don't really mind it that much. Magnifico. This is quite literally flawless. They got the tissue sticking out, the box folds on the side of her head, the details on the dress. What's not to love? Did you expect me to say more? I told you my commentary would shorten with these. Do you even listen to me? What's interesting about Cosmo is that he seems to be made of a different material from the other plushies, which actually makes him look a lot cleaner. And well, yeah, he's perfect too. They got every detail as expected, along with even recreating his idol pose pretty well. If you want to fool someone into thinking these plushies are real, definitely try this one, or our final pick. Out of all the tunes, the #1 spot could possibly be... Who do you think it ended up being? Poppy. Goddamn Poppy. One of the starting tunes managed to have the most accurate plush. The pose, the colors, the clothes, her face. It's all there put together so flawlessly. In my opinion, this is the only one of these plushies that looks like it could actually be official. It's so good. Color me impressed. GRGJ, or whoever made this. You've outdone yourself. It's all downhill from here, bud. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little ranking video. This was a lot of fun to put together, and I'm curious to see your picks and ratings for these plushies as well, so please comment them below. This was my first time revealing my voice to the channel, so please don't be too harsh. Anyways, that'll about do it. See y'all next time where I make the 78th Weird Al Show theme video. Hooray.